What are the best business ideas for 2021, and indeed what are the most in-demand jobs? That's going to be the topic of today's video. Now, before giving the list of what I think are the most in-demand industries and jobs, and also some business ideas, I'm going to make a point that I've made before, and that's that ideally the best business idea for you is going to be something which you're already good at. In other words, ideally you should get a job, get good at it, build up your contacts, build up your skills, and then start your own business, not the other way around. And that kind of leads me to the first thing. The first in-demand thing really is anything online. We're going more and more towards an online world, and it's affecting every single industry. So therefore, anything that can be made online is a good business opportunity. So for example, a lot of people thought traditionally, legal services, financial services, tax services, whatever, couldn't be made online. But obviously that's not the case in this day and age. So if you've got a business, or you're planning to get a business, and you can make it into an online business, then that is actually a good business opportunity, because it reduces your costs and it can increase your revenues if you can focus on a broader geographical area. It might be easy to expand, not easy, but easier to expand it overseas compared to before. That's one element. And that links me to jobs in demand. When I was looking at things like LinkedIn and other surveys, apparently anyone who's good with social media, that could be Facebook ads, it could be like content creators, it could be someone who's a brand manager, anyone who's good with the online kind of presence, those jobs are most in demand. But also the technical side too, like for example, AI engineers or whatever you want to call them, that's also in demand. But then linked to that, I think anything which is related to a health benefit is a really good business area. So the pandemic has exacerbated a lot of the trends that have existed in the world for a long time. So we talked about online, the world was going online anyway. Now the same with health. People have become more concerned with their health as time has gone on. For some people that could be veganism, vegetarianism, gluten-free or whatever. For other people it could be going to the gym and so on. But the general trend is people are caring more about these things. It doesn't mean everyone is practicing what they preach, right? But people are caring more. So if you've got a business that can actually make somebody healthier, then you've got a chance of actually expanding, and especially in those markets around the world where there isn't actually much penetration. So what I'm seeing on my social media when I talk to people as well is those markets like in Southeast Asia, like in India, like in Latin America, that were behind the West when it came to things like veganism, vegetarianism, healthy living, clean living, all this kind of thing. It's suddenly going up and up and up. Yes, it's from a low base, but the number of people who are looking for those services, and indeed restaurants, or it could be smoothie, whatever it is, it's just going up around the world. So that is one area also which is going up. Linked to that, anything that could, well, not maybe so much linked to that, but anything that could protect our data. So I was watching Dragon's Den a few days ago, and there was a really good pitch. Some people have said it's the best pitch ever on UK's Dragon's Den. And you've got a gentleman who has got a product where basically you can get paid as the consumer to share your data with that company, or you can block out the ads. So when you go on the internet, you see cookies quite a lot, right? Which essentially is a tracker. However, this particular application, what it does is it gives you two options. Either you can kind of remove all cookies, and it will do that for you if you allow it. Or the second option is you can share your data with the company, but you'll get paid for sharing that data with the company. So that's a very interesting idea, and people are becoming more concerned about their data, more concerned with online privacy. Internet security as well is another area people have become more concerned about, because it links to the first area. More people are going online. So what does that mean? People are starting to become more concerned by internet security, by being tracked online and so on. So if you've got an idea that can make people more secure online, or indeed you can do something innovative like pay people for their data, block cookies, it could be many things, but those kind of areas are only going to expand, and internet security jobs are only going to expand. You would think anyone who's linked to privacy, data protection, and so on, that's only going to get bigger as well. Also, as a final point, I do think that anything which is related to convenience will just keep going up. So even things that were seen as very niche before, like a pet sitter, for example, I think that's only going to expand exponentially over time. And we're going to see some things that are going to briefly become a trend. So for example, events. I think that there's so much pent-up demand for like going to bars, events, nightclubs, whatever, things that people couldn't do due to the pandemic. That's going to explode. But you know what? It's going to come back down to normal levels. It's not like somebody's going to go to the pub 7 days a week just because lockdowns ended. But I think some of these trends we've talked about, like the online trend, which also links to, for example, internet security and data protection and so on, AI jobs, and also things like clean living, healthy living. These are trends that are here to stay, and the penetration is still relatively low. How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net worth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfayed.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.